Ci sono pochi studenti,
No.
ma tanto resta registrato, lo guarderanno.
Vai Alessandra.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this informative session about the program Erasmus for Traineeship. As you probably know, the Erasmus program financed by the European Commission gives you, as a student at the University of Siena, the possibility of spending a period within the countries linked by the Erasmus, mainly the European Union, but not only, to spend a period abroad either for studying or for doing traineeship activities. In particular, today we are talking about those mobility abroad dedicated to traineeship. This means that you have the possibility of spending a period of time, minimum 2 months, maximum, depending on your degree, 12 to 24 months abroad. And also, as this program, this possibility is not only while you are studying, but also immediately after your graduation. So you can choose to do the mobility for training while studying at the university or after you graduate from the university. The peculiarity of this mobility is that it's much more flexible compared to the mobility for study, because it is up to you to choose the organization, association, business enterprise, research center, where to spend your mobility period. So you don't have to necessarily choose an entity that has already existing links with the University of Siena, and you can personally find an organization, a business enterprise, a research center, etc., that is willing to have you as trainee, and that is offering you an opportunity for building upon your knowledge and competencies. The real beneficial aspect of this kind of mobility is that you receive a financial support funded through the Erasmus program that gives you the opportunity, the possibility of spending a period abroad while training, not studying, therefore training, and also not doing activities that are only focused on research. This kind of mobility is also very much appreciated in the job market, because of course the fact that you in your curriculum vitae can declare that you have spent a period of time abroad doing a stage, doing a training, means that you have acquired several important competencies. Of course, first of all, language skills, but not only, intercultural skills, team working, problem solving, critical analysis, and all those competencies are extremely valued today in the job market. The process for having access to this Erasmus for Traineeship mobility is relatively easy, and it is going to be explained to you by the person that are going to speak after me. What I would like to stress to you as a professor and as the Erasmus coordinator of the University of Siena is the serious relevance that this opportunity represents for you. And you also have to take into account that this possibility is to you in several, can be used in several occasions. So during your degree, you can have a period abroad for traineeship more than once, depending on how many months you are going to spend in one place. Is it therefore possible, for example, to spend 3 months in France doing a training in a business enterprise and then doing 4 months in Germany working for a non-governmental organization? So the Erasmus for Traineeship program is extremely flexible. As you are going to be informed of, the University of Siena is going to help you, of course, through the administrative process of submitting your application. Your application is going to be valued and according to several criteria, among which it is particularly relevant the fact that you are going to perform an activity which is well connected with your degree. Also there is the possibility for you to have access to a list of entities that in the past have welcomed students from the University of Siena. As Erasmus coordinator, of course, I am ready to answer to all your queries and questions. You can always reach me via my institutional email. And of course, you can also get in touch with the office to gather further information. Having said that, please read carefully what is published in the website about the Erasmus traineeship, because all the most relevant informations about the process, about how to make the application, the period in which the application can be made, and so on and so forth, are already there. So in fact, reading those documents carefully will help you to organize your mobility and to submit a successful application. Do take this opportunity because it's really something that it might help you very much in finding a job once you have finished to study. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Viviani, for your speech. And I don't know if my colleague Candida Calvo, who is responsible of the international mobility, would like to say a few words.
Okay, so I think Professor Viviani introduced the mobility scheme. She knows very well the mobility scheme, so I cannot join anything. The only question is that this is a very flexible mobility scheme because you can participate during the degree or after graduation. So and you have different deadlines during the academic year. So you don't need now to take the decision to leave to go abroad. So it's important to have in your curriculum an abroad experience. So I invite you to participate, to read the call for applications where you can find all the information. And Simona now will explain all the rules that you have to respect, because Erasmus is a great opportunity, but there are many rules to be respected to get the Erasmus grant. So I pass the floor to Simona Chani, who is the colleague responsible for this mobility. Thank you.
Thank you, Candida, for your words. And so now we can go on with the presentation of the mobility and the notice of selection, which is published in the Erasmus for Traineeship webpage. I'm going to share, sorry, the page. Okay. Ready? Okay. So as you can see, this is the path to get to the Erasmus Mobility, Erasmus for Traineeship web page in English. Okay, and so we can open the notice of selection. Fine. So as the Professor Viviani said, the mobility, the Erasmus for Traineeship mobility, can last from 2 months to 12 months. It means that the mobility can start from the 1st of August 2023 until July 31st of 2024. So who can apply and carry out the mobility? All the students regularly enroll in one academic course of the University of Siena. It means students start in bachelor courses, master courses, or PhD courses, or even from the specialization schools. Okay, usually these are in the medicine area, not only, but most of them. So you have, as you can see, as Professor Viviani said, you have a certain amount of Erasmus months. It means that during the present study course, you have 12 Erasmus months available to carry out this kind of mobility. If you have 12 months, if you are attending a bachelor or a master course, while you have 24 months Erasmus months available if you are enrolled in a long cycle course, such as law, such as medicine or pharmacy, for example. So these are then the Erasmus for Traineeship mobility can be of two types. One is a long-term mobility, as I said before, from lasting from 2 to 12 months, or a short-term mobility, which can last maximum 30 days. And this kind of mobility is reserved to PhD students. Students, the students attending an undergraduate program, so a bachelor program, can apply only if they have already passed exams for 30 credits. So in the career, okay, in the secretarial line, must be present 30 CFU or 30 credits. Otherwise, the application is not valid. So you can apply. The general rule is that you have to apply if you are, if you have paid, if you have paid the annual fees. Okay, so you have to be enrolled in the academic year 23-24. But there are some exceptions. The first exception is students carrying out a mobility after graduation. so of course they are not requested to have an enrollment 23-24, or students graduating by April 2024 who had request a tuition exemption. This is very important. Students attending post-graduation courses, excluding PhD, must end their mobility before the conclusion of the course. Or another very important rule is that if you intend, if you want to carry out a traineeship mobility after your degree, you cannot be enrolled in another university course, okay? So you have to plan very carefully these two activities. Who are the students? Who are the people who cannot send the application? Students not regularly enrolled at the University of Siena, or students with Invest Your Talent grant, or students with MAECI traineeship, or students with, usually PhD students with grants, with the PhD scholarships from European funds, because a person cannot receive grants from different European projects. So, as we said, period is from the 1st of August until July 31st. The mobility can be long-term or shorter-term. This is a new rule, which is now during the mobility period, the traineeship mobility period, it is possible to take exams at the University of Siena. Of course, the exams cannot be taken online. So if you decide to take exams in Siena, of course you have to come back to Siena and then go back to the host organization. As we said, the mobility can be carried out within the study, within the course, within the study course, or within 12 months following graduation. Here it is true, but of course it depends on when you start your mobility. It means that the mobilities, as said, must be ended by the end of July. Okay, so if you start your mobility in April, for example, 2024, the maximum period of your mobility would be only 4 months. Okay, so this is true, but we have, of course, some exceptions. The other exception is that, for example, if you graduate at the beginning of July, your mobility cannot end by the end of July, but must end within 12 months following graduation. So if you graduate now at the beginning of July, your mobility will have to end at the end of June. So in case you want to carry out a curricular traineeship, so you want your traineeship to be recognized in your career, you have to end the mobility at least 2 months before the expected date of graduation, in order to give enough time to your student's office to upload, okay, this activity in your career. Otherwise, you may risk not to have it recognized by the time of your graduation. Graduation cannot occur during the mobility. This is very, very important, okay? So you can take exams, but you cannot graduate. So the mobility must be carried out totally before your graduation or totally after your graduation. This is a very important rule. And as you can apply for more than one mobility, of course, this period cannot be overlapped, and so the mobilities must be of two separated periods. Of course, if you fail in let's say in observing, in complying with these rules, the mobility will not be valid and will be cancelled, and you will have to refund the university of the money that you have received. The mobility period can be extended, and we will see better later. And the trainee must send the mobility extension form to outgoing@unisi.it, and the form is available during the mobility webpage, and we will see later better what we are talking about. Of course, the traineeship can be carried out both in public or private organization. They can be universities, they can be companies, they can be an NGO, anything, except with the exception of this kind of structures that are listed in here, non-eligible organizations. Okay, so please pay attention. Visit this link of the European Commission, where all the bodies, the non-eligible organizations are listed, and have also a look at the organizations listed in the web page Erasmus for Traineeship, because there are a list of such non-eligible organizations. Anyway, the Erasmus National Agency may check your mobility and may decide that it is not valid for any reason, but this is very rare, but it may happen. The mobility can be carried out in European countries, program countries, and in non-European countries, partner countries. So all these rules about the eligible organizations are valid both for the European territory than the non-European territory. The only restriction about the mobility in non-European countries is that the funds devoted to these mobilities are the 20% of the funds given. So it means that, of course, the European Commission is more likes, let's say, likes more mobilities in European countries. So at the end of each evaluation, okay, and we will see it a little bit later. At the end of each evaluation, the grant, the amount of money devoted to the non-European mobilities, let's say, will be displayed in the Erasmus for Traineeship webpage, so that students can decide whether in which area, you know, look for a traineeship. This the training project. So please read the guidelines of the program, and this will help you with of course, in looking for a traineeship and in making agreements with the host organization. Because maybe I have not said it yet, but it is the student who has to look for the host organization, for the receiving organization, okay? And there is a web page that we will see later, which can help you in finding these organizations. So what about the application submission? So you, as you see, as already said, the applicant has to find the receiving organization, agree upon the period and activities, and provide them with the acceptance letter template. So in the Erasmus for Traineeship webpage, here you can find the documents, okay, part of the documents necessary to apply for the mobility. Okay, let me. Sorry, maybe this is better. Okay, so here we are. So the application is made of some documents, okay, to be gathered in one single PDF file of maximum 5,000 KB, 5 mega, okay? And this is mandatory, okay? It means that if you send an application with the separated documents, okay, it will be rejected, okay? So one single PDF file containing the following documents: application form, and you have it here. So you have to fill it and sign it. Acceptance letter from the receiving organization, bearing an exhaustive description. So here you find, so once you have agreed, okay, the mobility with your receiving organization, you have to provide them with the application form. And then your receiving organization will have to send the field application form to our address, outgoing@unisi.it, okay? And in the same message, so the addresses must be outgoing and your email address. So we will check the acceptance letter. We will check the period, if it complies, if it is within the period of the notice of selection, and we will check if there is the description of the activities. Then we will reply to your host organization and to you, saying that, for example, the acceptance letter is okay, or if it is not okay because something is missing. The acceptance letter is okay. You will have to forward the document to your department representative, because he or she have to sign the acceptance letter. So the document, so you will have to include in the application this acceptance letter signed by the three parties, the host organization, yourself, and the department representatives. In case you do not get, let's say there can be two exceptions. One, the representative is not able to sign the letter. Then, of course, he or she will have to send you an email saying, look, I'm not able to sign the letter, but I accept it. Okay, I find it that the traineeship, the activities described are okay with me, and so you will upload. You will include this email message in the application. So in this case, you will upload the acceptance letter with just two signatures: the receiving organization signature and your signature, and the email message. In case from the email message from the representative. In case you send the acceptance letter to the department representative, but you see that the deadline is approaching, and you have not received your acceptance letter signed, then you can submit your application, okay, without the signature of the department representative, and you have to include in the application your message in which you request your department representative for signature. In this case, of course, the committee, okay, we will see that you have taken all the steps required, and of course they can decide better about your mobility. So then you will have to download a transcript of exams and enrollment from the Segreteria Online. Of course, in case of PhD students, of the third cycle students, they will have to upload only the enrollment declaration. And the other document is a self-declaration of being or not being recipient of another EU grant during the traineeship mobility, okay, because as we said, students with scholarships from European funds are in conflict, let's say, with the with Erasmus mobility, and so we want you to be aware about your situation. So we want you to declare that you know that during the Erasmus potential mobility, the only European grant will be the one of the traineeship, okay? And this is self-declaration EU grant. And then the language. So usually, if you have passed the language exams during your course, you will have it listed in the transcript of exams. But if you have not passed this exam, then you may include a self-certification of language proficiency in case you were enrolled in a previous study course at the University of Siena, so that we can check your former career. Or you may include a certificate of proficiency, or in the language of the host country, or in English, of course. English is the passepartout, okay, of the mobility. In case you have nothing to prove your level, your English level, you have to get in contact with the University Language Center in order to arrange a test, a language test, so that they can issue a language certificate, and you can include it in your application. In case, and then identity document, which can be ID or passport, and in case you are a student in a fewer opportunities category, and we will see in a while, you will have also to add a certification, but we will see later what we are talking about. And another mandatory part of the application is the summary. So you will have to fill a Google form with all the information of your mobility, so partially personal information or information from your acceptance letter, but you know every answer, okay, to the questions of the summary, and this is also a mandatory part of the application. Because applications not complying with the requirements will be rejected. So we expect to receive first the acceptance letter from your host organization. Then we expect to receive your application by email and the summary, okay? And then we will, when we receive your application by email, we will send you an email in return saying that, okay, your application will be evaluated, or no, your application will not, this application that you sent will not be evaluated because you have sent it not by your university email address, or maybe because it is not sent in one PDF file, but in 5, 6, 8 PDF file, okay? Because please be aware that the application will not be checked by the office. So we will check as I said, we will check the acceptance letter, okay, about the period and the presence of the activities. But we will not check the application when you send it. We will just check the address from where you are sending the application, and if there is if the application is made of just one PDF file, okay? But we will not go through the application. So please check carefully, okay, when you build up your file, your application. Because the application will be sent to the protocol office, will be officially registered, okay? And we will not accept additional sending for the same application, okay? So the same, again, please check the file very, very attentively. Now, the deadlines. So this selection notice remains open continuously from the day of publication until February 14th, 2024, with these deadlines. So if you would like to start your mobility in the months of August or September or October, the deadline is June 22nd. If your mobility, if you would like to start your mobility in November or December, the deadline is September 20th. For January, February, and March is November the 7th, and the last deadline is February 14th. For mobilities starting in April, May, and the 1st of June. Because the mobility cannot start after the 1st of June, because as all the mobilities has to end by July 21st, starting the mobility, for example, June the 2nd, this mobility will not be valid, because they are not 2 months, okay? They are less than 2 months. Selection. So after, okay, you have sent your application, then there is a committee, okay, and these are the people present in the committee, the president of the International Relations Committee, and all the other persons. And the evaluation will be the sum of 3 evaluations. The first is the academic curriculum. It means that your average no, come si dice? Sorry. The average score, okay, of your exams, which are now based on 30, will be calculated on base 10. Okay, so we will have a look at the Secretariat online, and we will calculate this score. The second score is the knowledge of the language. So this is why, as we said before, okay, we will look at your the Secretariat Online to see if we will look at the transcript of records to see if you have passed the language, or of course, in case not, you will have to add the certificate or the certificate issued by the language center if you have taken a language exam. Students enrolled in courses taught entirely in English, they will be, unless they provide a certificate of a higher level, otherwise they will be considered as B2, as bearing a B2 level, because this is the mandatory level to enroll in this kind of courses. And okay, this is the table of the points according to your level, to the level of the language. The last score is given to the professional project training, and of course this is the activities. These are the activities described in the acceptance letter. The sum of these three scores must be at least 18 points, unless the committee excludes the application because they find something that is wrong. Okay. So the committee will meet in these dates, and usually the publication of the evaluation, the publication of the rankings will occur in the 15 days following the committee meeting. Usually this is the time that it is needed for all the steps, okay, after their meeting. Of course, grants will be assigned up to fund exhaustion, okay, because of course you can apply to get to carry out the mobility, and of course to get funds, but funds are limited. So in case you may decide, you may have the possibility, if you want, if the funds are run out, you may decide to carry out the mobility with at zero grant. You have this possibility in case. Of course, in case of mobilities at zero grant, and in the meanwhile we receive the waiver form, no, from a withdrawal from other trainees, the money would be reallocated and the rankings will be adjusted. We will go through the three different phases of the mobility later on. Now I would like to look at the grants. So for the long-term mobility, trainee will receive a monthly grant, while for a shorter-term mobility, the grant will be on a daily basis, and these are the amounts. As you see, concerning the monthly grant for the long-term mobility, the amount is given by the countries. Okay, so if you carry out a mobility in a country in group 1, you will receive 300 euros per month. Group 2, 450. Group 3, 400. While and these group 1, 2, and 3 are all European countries, while group 4 is all the other extra-European countries, and you will receive 700 euros plus a travel grant, according to the distance from Siena to the town of the traineeship. So you, in order to calculate the exact distance, in order to be aware how much is your travel grant, you have to visit this link, because there is a distance calculator, which is not Google Map, but is another calculator with straight, lines with the straight distances from A to B. And here are the amounts according to the distance from Siena to the town of the traineeship. You may decide to use, let's say, a green transportation mean. A green travel is made by bicycle, bus, carpooling, or train. So if you use one of these transports, you will get an additional 50 euros plus 2 days of individual grant. This means the individual grant is the monthly grant divided for 30 days. Travels made by airplane, car, and motorcycle are not considered sustainable transports. The green travel, of course, we consider green travel mostly, of course, for in the European area. Okay, of course, the travel grant is considered for the group 4 mobilities. Okay, while the green travel is considered by the group 1, 2, and 3. Inclusion support. We have already found this situation when we were talking about the application form. So, if you belong to one of these categories, you have the right to get for long-term mobilities additional grant of 250 euros per month. In case of shorter-term mobilities, the daily grant rises to 100 in the first 15 days of the month, and 250 for the rest of the days of the month. Of course, the economic disadvantage for category A, these are trainees with Italian citizenship with an income range from OA to 2N, and these codes are present in the Secretariat online. Okay, we will after the assignment, after the awarding of the mobility, we will check, of course, the range, the income range in the Secretariat online, and in case you fall within this range, you will have the right of this additional grant. This is for the Italian, for traineeship with Italian citizenship. For students coming foreigner countries. We will, it depends on the, of course, from the home country, because we refer to the tuition regulation of the University of Siena. There is, as you can see, there is a table, and with an adjustment coefficient. If this coefficient is less than 1 relative to the home country, to a certain country, then we consider the trainee under the category of economic disadvantage. In case the trainee comes from a country with a higher coefficient, of course, he or she cannot be considered in this category. But then we have other categories which can be considered in the inclusion support. Refugee status or temporary protection, in charge of minors, workers, orphans who have lost at least one parent, and disability. In case of disability, in case the disability is let's say a serious one, the trainee may also get additional another additional grant based on the necessities certificated, and it has to be submit an additional application to get additional funds, which have to be directly asked, let's say, to the national agency. But of course, these are particular cases that will be managed, okay, in a different way. But of course, if you have a disability, in any case, a certified disability, you have to add this certificate at the application. You have to send it with the application. How we pay the grant? So the 80% of the grant will be paid within 30 days upon Erasmus for traineeship certificate and the travel ticket spending, calculated on the basis of the period stated in the grant agreement. And we will see later what is this document. We would like you to be aware that in December, you can start the mobility in December, but you have to be aware that in that period, the accountancy office will close. So we'll close at the beginning of December, and we'll open again in January. Okay, usually by the middle of January, but it depends. So you have to be aware that if you start your mobility in December, you will receive the grant agreement by the end of January. Okay, so just for, but of course it is up to you to start the mobility in December. So the balance of the grant will be paid after you have finished your mobility, and after we have received all the documents and you have carried out all the procedures requested. In case, here are some more information. In case your period that you have declared at the beginning of your mobility at the end is different. Okay, it comes out to be different for any reason. Okay, so this will be the calculation on the basis of your Erasmus certificate. As you see, there can be if your mobility is shorter, okay, than less than 10 days, okay, we calculate your grant, your total grant, on the basis of the grant agreement. This difference, okay, cannot be applied if your mobility lasts 2 months, okay? So it can be less. It cannot be less than 2 months. So you cannot shorten in any case your mobility, although you see this case. Okay, so please, this is a very important thing to keep in mind. Your mobility must be at least 2 months. Yes, the mobility can be, you may decide to carry out a blended mobility. It means that a part of the mobility is virtually carried out from remotely, okay, and a part of the mobility must be carried out in person. The grant will be given only given and calculated on the period of the in-person mobility, of the mobility carried out in person. And this period cannot be shorter than 2 months. The grant of the shorter term mobilities will be paid after the grant agreement delivery, because of course the mobilities are very, very short in that case. As we said, trainees can obtain the Erasmus for traineeship grant if recipients or if they have another scholarship from other EU funds. In case you have the scholarship from DSU, okay, you probably you have additional funds from them, but you have to get in touch with and find out what you have to, their procedures, if you will have additional funds from them, and so please get in touch with them, because they are not a university office, but they are a regional office. You may decide to extend your period, and you can ask for extension. And so you may extend your period, of course, if you still have Erasmus months available. As we said, maximum is 12 or 24, so it depends, okay? And if you may decide, you may need to extend your period because the training that you are carrying out needs an additional period in order to complete the work that you are carrying out, the research that you are doing, okay? And in case, and if the additional period is less than 2 months long, then and in case this additional period is covered by the grant, the additional grant, and we will see it later, the additional grant, then the balance will be paid. So the grant, the additional grant, will be paid with the balance. So at the end of your mobility, in case this additional period is longer than 2 months, then we will pay the 80% of advance payment at the beginning of the additional period. In case you shorten your mobility, it's difficult, but it may happen. Okay, so for long-term mobilities, if of course in the event of a mobility period shorter than 2 months, of course the mobility will not be considered valid, and the trainees will have to refund the whole amount received from the University of Siena. In the event of the advance payment higher than the grant calculated on the basis of the period declared in the Erasmus certificate, of course, you will receive an email in which with the instruction to refund the University of Siena of the difference of the grant. In case if you are carrying out a shorter-term mobilities shorter than 5 days, of course you will have to return the whole amount, and the same if you declare to carry out mobility, for example, of 30 days, but your mobility lasts only 10 days and received an amount higher than the effective total amount expected, then you will have to return the difference, and you will receive an email with all the instructions. Recognition, of course. If you if you are carrying out a curriculum traineeship, you may want to have the activity recognized by the committee and have it registered in your career. Okay, so you will have to first of all, you will have to check with your student's office, okay, about how many hours you have to work in order to have this activity recognized, because there are many degree courses, and there may be different rules you are studying in the scientific area, or you are studying in the humanities area, for example. So you have to ask your student's office about this the minimum hours of the traineeship, and then you may, of course, talk about it with the president of your education board in order to have additional information. University of Siena provides the trainee with an insurance covering injuries and general liabilities for slight negligence at the workplace. So if your host organization asks for an insurance with, let's say, covering other issues, well, you have then to subscribe a private insurance, because the University of Siena only you cover the trainee with for injuries and general liabilities for slight negligence. Okay. In case if you are carrying out, if you have a national health service card, and you are carrying out and you will carry out the mobility within the European area, then this card should be valid abroad. Okay, but please anyway, ask for more information the local health office, ASL. Okay, just to be sure about which expenses they may cover. Of course, we hope that you will not need anything of this kind when you're abroad, but okay, it's better to be to have this information. In case maybe if you have not an Italian citizenship, maybe you will have to subscribe a private health insurance. So at the same time, please get information or at the ASL or in the website of the embassies and so on. Another very important issue which I have not said is visa. So if of course if you need visa to get to enter the host country, well, you have to consider the issuing times for visa when you agree, okay, when you discuss the mobility period with the host organization, because otherwise, if you do not consider enough time to get all these documents, your mobility may be withdrawn. I mean, or you may need to postpone your mobility, and of course it would be not nice for you, or maybe also for the host organization. So please also consider all these steps, okay, when you will be in contact with the host organization, and you will agree about the period, when the starting period of your mobility. So now I would like just to go through the three phases of the mobility. As you see, each phase has a web page devoted, okay, with procedures and documents. So we go back to the Erasmus for traineeship web page, and you find the web page over here. So first, let's start from the offers, okay? Because as I told you before, there is a page where you can find some help for in order to help you to find a host organization. So Here you can find a table with the comments and the assessments given by the students who carried out, the traineeship mobility before you did. Here there is a file in which we listed some suggestions. One of them is to meet your teachers in Siena, and maybe they know someone in other universities or in foreign companies, and they may help you, to get in contact with them and in order to find a traineeship. Then you may visit this European website in which you can find some offers, of course, of traineeship. We have, here you can find some agreements that we have signed with some organizations. As you see, they are very, very few because it is not mandatory for the University of Siena to sign agreements for the Erasmus for traineeship mobility. But of course, you can take advantage of these agreements in here. Then usually we publish the offers that we receive from some organizations. And you can find also old, let's say, offers, because, and you may also contact these organizations, because although this specific offer has expired, but maybe they may be available to offer an additional traineeship. So you can, of course, ask them, write to them and ask if they have a position available for you. So now the phases, okay, of the mobility. Before the mobility, here you find the mandatory procedures to be carried out before the mobility. So one is the learning agreement for traineeship. This is a mandatory document, okay? It cannot be, you have to be present, it cannot be missed. So for all the mobility before graduation, the learning agreement, once you are in the list of once you have the mobility assigned, so that you are in the listed in the ranking list, okay? Then you have to download the learning agreement, fill it in the part of your personal information, and if it is, if you want to carry out a curricula, a traineeship or a volunteer or after a mobility traineeship, okay? Then you will have to send this document to your host organization. The host organization will have to return this document to you, and so that you will send the document, you sign it, okay, and you send the learning agreement to your student's office, because it must be approved by the Board of Education before you start your mobility. This is mandatory for the mobilities carried out before graduation, with one exception. The exception is the exception is in case of tuition fee exemptions. In case of tuition fee exemptions, it is the same case as mobilities after graduation, so that the learning agreement must be signed by Internet Affairs Coordinator, which is the same as the same person named here department representative. I will change the name so that it will not cause confusion. Okay. Here you have some tips for learning agreement compilation, and in the issued code is you have to find the issued code, the code that it is the closest, okay, to your degree course, and you write it on the learning agreement. In the 15 days before the mobility starts, okay, you have delivered the grant agreement. You have delivered the grant agreement, the disclaimer form, and you find the documents down here, and the copy of the learning agreement to us, to the International Relations Division. Please, the grant agreement is a document requested by the Erasmus National Agency. It means that they do not accept agreements sent by email. The signature must be original, okay? Handwritten signature with a blue pen on the paper. So it means that as we ask to, as you are invited to fill the grant agreement on the computer, okay, it doesn't mean that you are allowed to copy your scanned signature on the document. Okay, once you have filled the document, you print it, you take a pen, you sign the document, and that's it. And you give it to us, together with the other documents. Okay? Otherwise, we will we will throw away the document, because we cannot accept photocopied signatures. You can give these documents, you have three options. So no email sending, okay? This must be clear. So you can drop the documents at our desk, and we will update this schedule, because now you have to book an appointment via UFirst, so we will update this information very, very soon. Or you may drop the documents into the International Relations mailbox situated beside the desk door, okay? Or if you are not in Siena, you may decide to send the documents by regular post to this address, okay? No other options are accepted, okay? Just these three. We will also, this closure time is, as you see, is old, so we will write the University of Siena will be closed. It will be closed in August, and I think in December. So we will write here the closure times. Here you find, of course, the documents, the Erasmus student chart. You are not. It is not mandatory to add this document to the grant agreement. Okay, it is just for your information. So we invite you to read this student chart. Bank details. Of course, in order to have the grant paid, you have to upload your bank details, so your IBAN code. It can be a code of a bank account, or it may be a code of a credit card. It doesn't matter, okay? Or it may be, of course, this code must be owned by the recipient, by you, okay? We cannot pay grant to another person, okay? So this is very, very important. In case you can also upload a bank account code from a foreign countries, okay? You may do that. We can pay grants to a bank account non-Italian. But of course, please be aware that only IBAN of SEPA countries are accepted. Okay, so you have to check this web page in which you can find the SEPA countries. Okay. So please, students are obliged to keep the bank details updated, because of course if you change the code, but you do not update the data in the Segreteria Online, and we pay the grant, then the grant will be rejected, and time will be much longer than expected. You may take advantage of the online language support. Of course, as we said, English is a passepartout. You can use English almost everywhere. But the European Commission gives you this opportunity to take log in, to register in this web page, and take a language course, as in case your level is not so high, you can attend a free online course. We invite you to take a test and maybe to attend the language course of your host country, because not every person in your host country may speak English. Okay, so maybe it would be a help for you in your everyday life to know some words of your host country. So this is, of course, an invitation. It is up to you to take advantage of this instrument or not. Mobilities to UK. Mobilities to UK. Some maybe it is necessary to get a certificate. You will need to get a certificate of sponsorship. Some years before, it was the British. It was very easy, because it was the British Council, which was the office issuing these documents. Now we do not have many clear information. So if you want to carry out a mobility in UK, of course, you have among all the other information about your traineeship, you have to ask your host organization. You need the certificate of sponsorship and how you can get it. Otherwise, you cannot enter the UK. Okay, so please ask the receiving organization. Here are two links that we hope can help you, but I think that the most important step is ask the receiving organization about this very, very important information. In this link, you can find two portals which can help you in finding lodging abroad, because maybe your host organization will not help you in finding accommodation, and so maybe you can take advantage. These two portals may help you in finding a suitable accommodation. It will not happen, but in case you have to withdraw from your mobility for any reason, please send to us to outgoing@unisi.it the waiver form. Okay, so this is the before the mobility phase. Now we go back and let's check during the mobility. So as soon as you start the mobility, you have to provide your host organization with this document, your Erasmus for traineeship certificate. And your receiving organization will have to send it to us, to outgoing@unisi.it, okay? And at the same time, you will have to send your travel ticket, which can be train ticket or boarding pass, okay, anything. Any document in which we can see the date of your departure and the mean of transport. Then in this page, as you see, you can find the extension form. As we said, in case you need to send, you need an extra time, you have to send this form. After the mobility, so at the end of the mobility, you will have, so within 10 days after the end of the mobility, the receiving organization, sorry, this is an old, it works, but it is an old email address. We will update it soon. So the receiving organization we have to send to outgoing@unisi.it the Erasmus certificate with arrival and departure dates, and the learning agreement. We expect to have a learning agreement with the before the mobility field and the after the mobility section field. In the after the mobility section, of course, the organization, the tutor, must assess your activities, must describe the activities carried out, and must evaluate your work and you as a trainee. Okay, so the tutor cannot just copy all the words written in the before the mobility section, and copy them in the after the mobility section. I'm telling you that because, of course, we receive, it is not so often, but we do receive learning agreements like that. So, of course, we cannot accept them, and we have to reject them, write to the host organization, and so, the time will be longer, and we would like to avoid, it. While you will have to send the return travel ticket. Of course, if in case your travel ticket is a bus ticket or a train ticket, then we will be able to give you the green travel grant. Return, yes, of course, both ways, travel ticket. At the same time, as soon as you receive you will receive them then an email from an EU domain. So please check also your spam folder with an invitation to complete an individual report. Please fill it as soon as possible, because we will be able to pay the balance of your grant only after we have received these three documents and you have filled the EU survey. Of course, if you want to have the mobility recognized, you have to send the learning agreement and any other document your student's office requests you have to send them so that the procedure of recognition can be started by them. So please do not ask to us about information on recognition procedure, because it is in charge, because your student's office is in charge of this procedure. So the final payment, of course, it is done on the basis of the Erasmus certificate, dates of arrival and departure. And please pay attention to these situations, because it may, of course, affect your balance. Okay, so please pay attention to these situations. Then at the end of the mobility, we invite you to fill the host organization assessment, the Google form, I think, so that your experience may help the future trainees. So I think I'm done with it, and if there are some questions, I can answer them before closing this meeting.
Okay, there is just one question. We have already answered in the chat, but maybe we can share with everyone. So the question was, how does it work when I have mandatory courses in both semesters, and how can I follow the courses and take the exams if I am doing an internship abroad?
Well, then you have to ask your student's office, because in this case it's them who can tell you if you can carry out a traineeship abroad. We, of course, for us, it's okay as long as the period is okay and everything, the application is fine and you comply with all the requirements and the rules of the notice of selection. But of course, if there are limitations given by your degree course, you have two restrictions. You have to ask your student's office for additional information. So okay, it's okay. This was the only question. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for your attention. And of course, this meeting is registered, is recorded. Sorry, is recorded, and so you can watch it again whenever you want again. So goodbye, good luck. I hope you can find you can carry out an Erasmus for traineeship mobility and get all the best from this experience. Hold on, I have to. Ok, penso di averlo chiuso.